Welcome to my views and news. Wednesday's second video. First news story is from Tigray, where banking service is resuming in some cities of Tigray. But can people of Tigray withdraw cash from banks freely? We have details for you. It seems there are restrictions on withdrawal of cash. Second news story is from Oromia-Amhara border. Since yesterday, pictures are being shared from border area, which is in Oromia, where people entering Oromia region to go to Addis Ababa are being stopped, entering from Amhara region. Thirdly, viewers, three U.S. Congress they have written a letter to US Export and Import Bank. They are opposing granting of loan to Ethiopian airline. And fourthly, first batch of Somalia soldiers who were in Eritrea for more than 2 years has returned to Mogadishu, Somalia's capital. Firstly, viewers, we know that banking service is being restored in Tigray after the signing of the peace deal last month. Preparations were made, and now gradually banking service is being resumed. Reportedly in Shire, several banks have resumed their operations. In Coram, Alamata and Makale, two banks are about to start their operations. But question is, especially in Shire, are Tigrayans allowed to withdraw cash freely? Are there any restrictions? What we have learned is that so far, withdrawal is not allowed in most cases. Only deposit is allowed, that from Tigray, from Ethiopia, from abroad, people can now send money to Tigray. But free, unlimited withdrawal is not allowed. What is the purpose of resumption of banking service if Tigrayans don't have access to their own money? This is their own money, which is with these banks, with Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. But so far, withdrawal is restricted, firstly. Secondly, I have a question. If in coming days, God forbid, a war broke out once again between Tigray side and Ethiopian federal government, what would be the status of new funds being transferred by diaspora to Tigrayans? Of course, everything once again will revert to what was the situation a few months ago. So that is why no one is going to send money to Tigray before the implementation of peace deal, before complete implementation of the peace deal. First of all, a Tigrayan should be allowed to withdraw their own cash. They need this cash. They need this cash, this money to buy eatables, to buy basic items for survival, because they are dying of hunger. They died of hunger. They were facing very difficult conditions in day-to-day life. But so far, unlimited withdrawal, even withdrawal in some cases of money is not allowed, especially in Shire. And when 2 days ago, Ethiopian Commercial Bank announced resumption of banking services in Alamata, Coram and Makale, it announced that the banks will be able to receive money. No, there was no mention of withdrawal. So, if banks are able to receive money, why can't they allow customers to withdraw money as well? I have been saying that Ethiopian government is facing shortage of foreign exchange reserves. It will put in place some restrictions on withdrawal, and that is what is happening. In most cases, there is no withdrawal at all. Then what is the purpose behind resumption of banking service in Tigray? Secondly, viewers, Oromia-Amhara border, several issues on this border unresolved, border demarcation, Valaga, and entry of people from Amhara through Oromia to Addis Ababa has been a contentious issue. People from Amhara region who want to reach Addis Ababa, they've been complaining for months. There's some videos on that a few months ago that they were being stopped. That when they enter Oromia from Amhara, they are stopped by Oromia forces. Pickets, checkpoints have been set up. Their people from the Amhara region are stopped and most are returned. They're not allowed to enter Addis Ababa. Since yesterday, some pictures are being shared from Gohatsian, which is in North Shore zone of Oromia. People trying to reach Addis Ababa were being stopped in Gohatsian, Oromia. And in Shino as well, which is again in Oromia, when people from Amhara region enter Oromia, they are stopped at Shino, checked, and sometimes returned. Now, government sources, Oromia regional government sources say that these checkings are necessary to ensure security. Addis Ababa is Ethiopian capital. So before entry of people in Addis Ababa, people are checked, vehicles thoroughly checked. But can you stop someone from entering Addis Ababa? What is the reason? You cannot stop anyone. You must have something solid against someone to stop them from entering Addis Ababa. Otherwise, people in Amhara region, they have right to travel through Oromia to enter Addis Ababa. But we have been hearing these complaints for months, if not years. And same is happening. So far, no solution. Thirdly, viewers, some US congressmen, two congressmen and one congresswoman are opposing granting of loan by US Export and Import Bank to Ethiopian airline. Brad Sherman, Ilhan Omar, James McGovern, the three members of Congress have written a letter to Antony Blinken, US State Department, and Exim Bank. The bank is considering granting of loan to Ethiopian Airlines, around 100 million users, reportedly, though this figure was not made public, reportedly. The three members of Congress are opposing granting of any loan to Ethiopian Airlines or any other Ethiopian government institution. They say that the peace deal is being implemented, but it has not been fully implemented so far. Restoration of basic services, unrestricted access to Tigray, protection of civilians, monitoring of human rights happening, but not fully. So that is why before full implementation of peace deal, no loans should be granted to Ethiopian government. And we know that the Ethiopian government is hoping that IMF will grant loans, that its loan payment will be rescheduled. If IMF and other lenders, they decide against granting of loan to Ethiopian government or against rescheduling loan payments, it would be hard times for Ethiopian economy, hard times ahead, it seems. So far, we have not seen announcement of any new loans from US, from IMF, from World Bank in the last 1.5 months. After the signing of the peace deal, efforts are underway. Ethiopian government is badly in need of loans, grants, and direct financial support, loan payment rescheduling. So far, no announcements from the lenders, from financial institutions. Especially Brad Sherman, is accused of being pro-TPLF. He is accused of being funded by TPLF as well. He is very staunch critic of Ethiopian and Eritrean governments. He has been calling for sanctions on Ethiopian and Eritrean governments too. Lastly, viewers, first batch of Somalia soldiers has returned from Eritrea 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. Thousands of Somalia soldiers were sent to Eritrea for military training. Since then, they have been there. Perhaps the only military training in the Horn of Africa which lasted more than 2 years. Because no military training lasts more than 2 years in any part of the world. And we saw a barrage of rumors in the past 2 years about the deployment of these soldiers to Tigray. Tigray government officials, they accused Eritrea. They said that Eritrea had deployed Somalia soldiers to fight in Tigray. Farmajo government, former government of Somalia, Ethiopian government, Eritrean government, all denied these accusations. Then Hassan Sheikh came to power in May this year. He visited Eritrea twice within the last 4 to 5 months, and he announced that Eritrea was building Somalia's forces. Air, naval, and land forces of Somalia are being trained and armed as well in Eritrea. And he appreciated Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president. He rejected all reports that Eritrea was demanding any ransom, any money for the return of these soldiers. And last week, I think 2-3 days ago, he announced that the soldiers would start returning from Eritrea in December, and this process will be completed by January. So this process has started. Reportedly, at Mogadishu airport, a plane landed a few hours ago carrying first batch of Somalia's soldiers who received military training in Eritrea. Their parents have been protesting, some because there were rumors that some had been killed, some had been deployed to battlefronts, and their parents held some meetings with Hassan Sheikh. They protested in Mogadishu. Now, a good news that these soldiers are returning from Eritrea to Mogadishu. Where will they be deployed? In which regional state of Somalia? That remains to be seen. Thank you for watching.